Hi, I'm Tori, and today I'm going to be talking about Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. I listened to the audiobook narrated by Amy Rubinate, and I had so much fun with this book. This book is about a Southern belle in high school who is getting ready for cotillion and is about to be crowned homecoming queen or prom queen or one of those things, when suddenly she gets supernatural fighting powers and has to deal with all these strange things while still maintaining her Southern charm. And yes, I listened to the audiobook. There were lots of Southern accents in the thing, so now I just want to do a really bad Southern accent because it's so hard to listen to that book for 9 hours and then not want to talk like this. This book reminded me a lot of the Vampire Diaries, where people are always getting ready for these major, horrible, life-ending battles, and it coincides with these town events where everyone has to dress up and prance around and do these silly little things while worrying about the end of the world and things like that. So that reminded me so much of that. And then it also reminded me of the TV show Chuck, where one day a perfectly ordinary person suddenly gets all this crazy stuff downloaded into their brain, and they're kind of shocked and watching. It's like, wow, I just beat that person up. I didn't know I knew how to do that. Okay then. And then it all was set in this great, charming little southern town, so it was so much fun. So this book is a great action story set in high school, dealing with cotillion drama and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It's the kind of thing where if you try to overthink every little plot hole and stuff, you'll get a little bit frustrated with it. But if you just sit back and have fun, it is very enjoyable. So I would highly recommend this book. If you want to read it, go read it and then come back to hear my opinions. So I think my favorite thing about this book was that Harper was actually not the chosen one. There was nothing special about her. The only reason she became a paladin was that she happened to be in the bathroom when the janitor died. And in the opening, she had that line about how this never would have happened if I had remembered my lip gloss. And that seems like something you hear fairly often, but it usually isn't quite so literal. And really, if she hadn't been there, none of this would have happened to her. So I thought that was very fun. I loved watching her interact with David from the moment we met him. Like, you could tell he was going to be the love interest. When they started saying, oh yes, I've hated him since preschool. He's so annoying. He is just the worst boy in the world. You can tell that they're going to be dating by the end of the book. And I know that is a cliche they do very often in books like these, but I enjoy it and I'm always happy to see it. So that was lots and lots of fun. It was really fun to watch Harper get her powers and just kind of be shocked at what she had done. For me, the best scenes in the book were kind of in the first third or so of the book, where she just suddenly managed to attack her history teacher and survived. And it was great. He made that comment about how she wrote a whole history paper just about shoes, and then she killed him with a shoe. So maybe, he should have given shoes a little bit more credit. Oh, and I love the scene where she's freaked out because she just accidentally beat up her boyfriend, and she goes off by herself. Then David comes to comfort her, and she leaps in the car and starts this crazy car chase, and it was so much fun to watch that. Just, okay, you're in the way, so I'm gonna have to get in there and drive that car now. And that was just amazing. I loved every second of that scene. It was so great. I also loved the idea of the whole getting ready for cotillion, and we're so worried about, the end of the world and all this stuff. We have to prepare, but then we also have to make sure our dresses look nice, and we have to remember our gloves and be proper ladies and all that stuff. I loved it when all the girls in the cotillion became paladins for just like a minute, and you could see all these girls in these foofy white dresses just like doing all this fighting and flipping people over and backflips and leaping and kicking, and that was just an amazing visual to me. I liked it when Piper was getting ready to go into battle, and she had on her gorgeous cotillion dress, and it kind of made me think of the first season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for that finale, when she puts on the pretty white dress and goes off to the sewers to fight for humanity, and it just really reminded me of that, and I loved it. And then at the end, she had broken up with Ryan, and, we thought he was they were going to go their separate ways. And then she finds out that he was there when Sailor died. And so then Ryan became a mage, and now he'll have to work with Harper and David, and it's going to be hilarious. Though it did make me wonder what would have happened if Sailor had died alone, you know, because it sounds like there have to be certain numbers of mages and paladins to each oracle, you know, and that has to be a specific ratio. And so it seems like there would have been lots of situations where these people would have died, so what would have happened to that power? Would the ratios just get messed up and eventually they'll become extinct, or will they just pop up randomly in unsuspecting people? I'd be a little curious to know how that works. I also thought it was interesting, you know, they said Harper could only use ancient weapons because she wouldn't have the same skill with new weapons. But it seems like the paladin, to be a paladin, you would have to have like really good reflexes and really good strength and all this stuff. And so even if you weren't supernaturally good at using guns, you have good reflexes and good strength, and it seems like something that you could probably learn fairly easily and it'd still be helpful. So I feel like that was probably there mostly just so we could have cool sword fights, and I appreciate that because the sword fights were so much fun. I felt the same way about all of this happening at Cotillion. Sailor said that she did this for a reason, so that, you know, she could keep track of things and have them in her control. But really, it seems like it would have been better to just kind of pick a random day and isolate David and try to take care of him. And I felt like that was probably mostly there because a giant apocalyptic fight at Cotillion sounds like a really fun idea. And so once again, I'm glad they did that because it was a fun idea. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I had a few questions about things in this book, but mostly I had a lot of fun with it, and I cannot wait to start the next one.